Depression, it's such a massive thing. If you're suffering with it, let me try and help you by telling you how I dealt with it. So let's get into the video. Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're really well. Welcome back to Spiritual Candy. Welcome to Spiritual Candy if you are new. Today I am talking about a really hot topic, depression. It's a massive thing, mental health, and it's an area that is talked about but not as much as it should be, or in the way it should be, in my opinion. I am not a mental health professional, I am not a doctor, I am not a medical professional in any way. The reason I feel I can talk to you about it today is because I have experienced depression, and I have been in a partnership with someone who has had very severe depression, and a lot of my very close family members have had very severe depression or chronic long-term depression. So it is all around me, so I get it. So I am going to talk to you today about things that I have done or that I have seen work in terms of helping you deal with and manage depression and to have a happy life even if you have depression. Now, I want to make something clear. This isn't a rundown of what you should do or not do. It's not a 101. It's not a beginner's guide. If you watched my anxiety video, it's very similar to that. What I'm trying to do is not just say what everybody else says, but put the 5 points forward that I feel are not generally covered by other people. So let's just get straight into it. Number one is connect with natural things. Okay, it might seem a bit woo-woo. If you have just picked up this video on a search on Google or on YouTube, you might not necessarily be a spiritual person. So the idea of connecting with natural things may seem a bit out there. Do you know what? If you're depressed though, you probably don't really care about what will work. You just want something that will work. Connecting with animals, connecting with very small children if they call out to you. Some people are not child friendly, and that's fine. So I don't generally say children, but it can be small children. I definitely sense this with my nephews, but you might not be the same. So connecting with natural things, things that have not been interrupted or messed with by human hand. So small children, animals, nature. Remember that we are all energy, we're all vibe. You know, even if you're not a spiritual person, you don't need to be. Science tells us we're an energy field, okay? When you go into nature and when you're around natural things, they give off a balanced, earthy energy, which will help you with your depression. I'm not going to say any more than that, because I'm not claiming to know all the ins and outs, the science. And I don't want to make this a super long video. My anxiety video was like half an hour long. I do not want to do that this time. What I want to point out is that by connecting with natural things on a daily or as often as you can basis, you will feel that your depression changes, and you will feel that like heaviness. It should make a change to that heaviness, okay? And that sense of like lethargy, that internal sort of like walking through treacle should lift somewhat, and it's because of the energy of those pure natural things will help to elevate your energy, okay? Now obviously, can I just say a quick disclaimer here? It's not a disclaimer because that's just so BS, isn't it? But you know, like, can I just make a point here that obviously it's different things are going to work for different people. I'm not claiming to be able to cure depression or anything ridiculous like that. I'm just saying these things work for me. I've seen them work for other people. Perhaps if you are struggling, try them, because they may work for you too, and that would be fantastic. Okay, the second thing is kind of comes from the metaphysical sort of world. Anyone who knows Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, she gives metaphysical reasons for the physical problems we have with our bodies. She also gives an explanation of what depression is. And what I want to ask you is whether you believe in the metaphysical meanings of things, whether you're spiritual or not, is there something you are angry about? So your depression could be indicating that you are angry with something. So what are you angry about? If you have pushed down, pressed down, resentment, anger, a sense of anger about anything, This could be a contributing factor to your mental state and your depression. So ask yourself, what am I depressed about? What am I angry about? You know, like, you don't necessarily have to be aware of it, but consider it as a possibility. What is it that's getting at me? And when I said, what are you depressed about? I said that by accident, because the thing is, you will have already asked yourself, well, am I depressed about something? But it will, a lot of the time, there's a kind of vibe of like, well, what are you fed up about? No, what are you angry about? Because there is a suggestion that in some cases, the depression is repressed anger. So it feels kind of heavy and dull, but actually it's kind of like rage pressed down. So what are you angry about? If you can tap into that and let it out, this may release somewhat some of the depression, or perhaps even all of it, okay? The third point is kind of another way, which is that you're not able, another part of the metaphysical meaning is, other than anger, that you're not able to freely like express yourself. So who or what is draining you? Who or what is kind of like dulling you? And in what way are you not allowed to kind of express your true nature? So this may be a person, this may be a situation, this may be a mindset, this can be a cultural or a family way of doing things that you just don't vibe with, and that is why you are in this state of internal like and mental imbalance, let's say, which is being reflected in your physiology, you know? So ask yourself, who or what is draining you? And the point I want to make here is, you are not a robot. If you're spiritual, you kind of will probably already get this, but if you're not, you need to understand that you can't decide in your mind, this is how I'm going to be in life, this is the job I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to see success, this is what I'm going to do to make me happy. It doesn't work that way. You have to be led to that. So you can't make a mental decision. And I think a lot of the time we do that, and it can cause this massive sense of imbalance and unrest within us. So my point here is, you're not a robot. You can't make yourself into the person you think you should be. You have to allow who you really are to come through. Okay, and it may be that the environment you're in, the people, the family, the friends, or the group, or the country, or the whatever you are in, doesn't vibe with who you really are. And that may be a reality of your life, and that might require you to make some changes. But the point is, you have to let your natural and organic and authentic self come through. You can't decide, for example, I've decided I'm going to live in New York and be an accountant, and I'm going to have this amount of money, and I'm going to have a partner that looks like that, and I'm going to have a family that looks like that. Because having that mental concept, it might be that that's what you decide, and that might be right. Yeah, if that's your authentic self, fantastic. But you can't just mentally decide it. You have to allow who you really are to come through. If who you really are is an accountant that lives in New York and has this sort of partner and whatever, fantastic. But what if you are really supposed to live a simple, organic life, living in somewhere, some sort of wilderness somewhere, with a totally different type of a partner in a totally different social situation? Then trying to force yourself to be the accountant won't work, and it works both ways. So if you decide that you want to be absolutely wild and crazy and out there and lead this like really hippie boho life, and actually you're a really conventional person, that's gonna, you know, stunt your vibe as well. So you've got to notice who you authentically are, and be careful of who or what is draining you, because this can be a mental idea that's draining you as much as somebody else. Okay, so now the next 2 points kind of build on that. Number 4 is surrender. Give it up. Yeah, for some of you, there is this depression is not necessarily caused, I'm not going to use that word, but it's triggered by thought forms, thought ideas about how things should be, how other people should be, how the world should be. It should all over the place. Just give it up. Just say, I'm who I am and I'm stepping forwards. You know, I'm taking the path of least resistance. So when I'm moving forwards in my life, I'm going to go for what feels best, the preference, you know, look at what comes up in the now and just make my preference, make my choice, do what feels right, which vibes with me at the time. And I'm going to surrender and I'm going to let myself be led, and I'm going to stop overanalyzing everything and overthinking everything and etc. Like I say, these steps will not work for everyone. They're not a 101 about how to deal with depression. If you want a 101, type it into Google or here on YouTube, and you will find people saying to you, you know, get this amount of rest or eat like this, or, you know, blah blah blah. And can I say that please go to the doctor if you are depressed. You know, go and get medical advice as well. This is not a medical opinion. This is just things that work for me that don't generally get talked about, that I would like to share with you, okay? The fifth point is very much like fourth point. Open your mind. Open your mind. So not only surrender, give it up, give up control, open your mind. Because for me, on some occasions, depression is an indicator that you are trying to go down the wrong road, essentially. So the reason it feels heavy, the reason it feels sluggish, the reason it feels like just like nothing, like the end of everything, the nothingness, the reason why it feels so empty and so awful is because this isn't the right road for me, yeah? Something I'm doing is not vibing with me. So you need to open your mind. It might be that you've got a fixed idea about partner, place, what you're doing, interests, way of going about life. It could be myriad things, but it could be that you've got a fixed idea and that you're going down the wrong road. You could be making wrong decisions. It could be that you are not opening up to who you really are and your interests, you know? It could be that you have just got to, you know, you're very narrowly focused in one place. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing, but what I mean is that, and I'm not saying you're causing your depression at all. I've been there, guys. I've had depression. Some of the people I love the most have chronic long-term depression. Okay, so it's not a judgment. It's coming very much from an insider point of view. I'm just saying that some of these things could trigger an aha moment in you. You know, if one of the points I've made resonates with one person out there, this video has been worth making, because for me, my depression was shifted by these things, okay? Or I have seen it shift somebody else's. So these are really crucial. So open your mind, yeah? Open your mind, because if you have an open mind and you've surrendered control, you are allowing the universe and fate to bring to you new options and new possibilities. And if you've got an open mind to, perhaps I'm being told to go somewhere else, perhaps there's something better for me. If it is that's contributing to the depression, you will be open to receiving the new option. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So let's just quickly go through those again. Connect with natural things. Ask yourself, are you angry about anything? Is this pushed down rage? Number 3, who or what is draining you? Number 4, surrender, give up the control. Just go with the flow, take the next step in front of you, go for whatever feels best. Take the next best step that you can and allow yourself to go with the universal energy. Number 5, open your mind. Have you got a fixed idea about what you should be doing, or your interests or hobbies or your life or your community or whatever? Open your mind to new ideas, because it may well be that what's actually happened with your depression is that the universe is slowing you, is saying, no, don't go that way anymore. Don't go over here, go over here. And that when you have an open mind and you surrender and you open to the possibility that maybe this thing over here is draining me, and you open your mind, you feel yourself being drawn to this new thing, which could help to release the depression. Guys, have an amazing week, and please reach out to me on social media or on the comments on YouTube, or message me on the website if you need any support. I'm always here for you. Guys, I love you.